Hello, YouTube. So good to be back. I got some great news. Well, great for me. I don't know so much for you guys. Um, on Easter Sunday, I hope everybody had a great Easter Sunday if you celebrate it. If not, I hope it was a great day regardless. Um, on Easter Sunday, I did some of my seed starting and I started all of my tomato seeds for the summer, and I'm so excited. Um, it was hard. It was hard, y'all. I had to narrow down because I have in total 48 varieties. So seeds for 48 different varieties of tomatoes. And I had to narrow that down to 18. Ugh. But I did it. I did it. I had, in the end, I worked out with, I think, 3 mini or dwarf tomatoes. I did 4 cherries. Um, I think 2 saladettes, I want to say. And then the rest are like your regular or your larger beefsteak tomato varieties. So, my goal this year was to include like as many colors as I possibly could. I want to have a colorful basket of tomatoes, and I just want to try them all. But obviously, I don't have 48 containers to do one of each plant. So, I did all 3 of the miniature or dwarf varieties that I have, and I plan on putting those in the dollar store containers, the stackable containers that they have. I ordered a case of them not too long ago, and they came in the mail. They were, $1 each, plus some shipping and stuff. So I bought a lot of stuff from there, but to make it worthwhile with the shipping. But anyways, so I'm going to be growing dwarf tomatoes in those, along with a bunch of herbs. The 3 varieties that I have are the Micro Tom, the Orange Hat, and the Mini Bell. So I started 5 of each plant, so that's 15 dwarf tomatoes or miniature tomato plants that I'll be putting throughout my stackable planters from the Dollar Tree. So then the other 15 varieties that I went with. So we're going to start with the Bush Goliath. I was excited about this one because it is a determinate variety, and so that means it's going to be a compact plant, and it's supposed to only grow to 3.5 feet tall. It's specifically designed for patio gardens and those with limited space. The fruits, I believe, are supposed to be like 3 to 4 inches around, and it's supposedly it'll produce continually up until the frost. So, sounds good to me. It's a red variety, and it just looks like your basic tomato. Next up is the Dr. Witchy's Yellow. Honestly, that tomato gets so much hype from so many different YouTubers and gardeners and tomato lovers that there was no way I was not going to get it. It's got this beautiful, like, orangey golden color, and the fruits can be up to 1 whole pound. So that's kind of exciting. It supposedly has some heavy yields, meaty flesh. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not opposed to tomatoes with, a lot of gel in them, but I do prefer tomatoes that are meaty as opposed to those with more gel in them. And the other gardeners say that the flavor of those is just wonderful. So I had to get those a try. Next up is the Dwarf Pink Passion. Now, these were seeds that I got from Craig LaHoolier. If you saw my last video where I talked about how I had contacted him to get a signed copy of his Epic Tomatoes book. And so when he sent along 6 packs of seeds, and this was one of them. and they weren't the newest seeds, so I was going to try to use as many of them as I could this time around, but also because it's a pink tomato, and I don't think I've ever had a pink tomato. It's also a determinate variety, so it's perfect for growing in my containers. Supposedly gets to about 3 feet tall. It's early and it's only 63 days. So I should be getting tomatoes from that a little on the earlier side as opposed to the ones that take like 80 to 90 days. Next up is the lemon drop. So my notes say that this one's supposed to be tart and sweet at the same time. I thought that sounded interesting. But mainly I bought them from an Ohio company called Ohio Heirloom Seeds. It's a yellow cherry. Last year I grew 2 yellow cherry tomatoes. I grew the berry crazy cherry and the yellow pear. And both were good, but neither one of them knocked my socks off. So I want to give another yellow cherry plant a chance. And being that this one is sold by Ohio Heirloom Seeds, I figured they're probably acclimated to, grow successfully where I'm at here in Akron, Ohio. Next is the green zebra. So this one, first of all, I've never had a green tomato before other than like a fried green tomato. But like this one's, deliberately a green tomato. I've never had one of those. It's super cool looking, and they say it has a sharp, bitey flavor. I think I know what that means, but it'll be interesting to try it. Plus, the type of green that it is, it's my mom's favorite color, and so it just makes me think of her when I see it. There's another one I'll be talking about later that I'm also growing because it makes me think of my mom. Next up is the green grape. So these were also seeds that I received from Craig LaHoyer. It's a determinate variety. We know that I'm growing in containers. I've already said this, and so this will be perfect for me. But they describe the flavor as addictive, spicy, sweet flavor. That sounds so good to me. It makes me think of at one of my favorite breweries around town here. They have a mango rehab beer, and it's fruity because it's mango, but it's also got a spicy kick to it. I'm not sure what kind of pepper they put in it, but it's super good. I love it. So I kind of feel like this is going to give me that same experience, but who knows? The Tigerella is next up, and this is the other one I was talking about. My mom got me these seeds. They were part of the Funky Veggie Kit, which she got me. And so I'm excited to grow those because obviously I'll think of her. But I was checking them out, and they're gorgeous. They're absolutely beautiful. But they also grow in these really long trusses. So they should be really not only, tasty, they're going to be very pleasing to the eye, and I'm looking forward to seeing, trusses of tomatoes growing. The next one that I'm doing is the Sweetheart Cherry, and honestly, I just had to get this one just because I thought the shape of the tomatoes were so adorable. Oh my god, they were so sweet looking. But anyways, they're described as sugar sweet with a berry-like flavor, extra long trusses, and heavy yielding. So all of that sounds amazing to me, and I don't know what a berry-like tomato is going to taste like, so that's going to be interesting as well. But I do like sweet tomatoes, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great addition to the yard. Next up, the black cherry. The only reason I got this is because everybody raves about the flavor and the productivity of this tomato. Supposedly it has that classic, rich, dark tomato flavor. I've not had that before, but it seems to be pretty popular with most people, so I'm anxious to give it a try. Next is the orange accordion, and I'll be honest, I bought these without even reading what to expect. They are like these super fluted tomatoes, or like ribbed, or however you describe it. They're called, but they got like these ruffled. I don't know. They're just so neat looking, and they're supposed to be pretty big too. But honestly, I bought them on the photo alone. Like, you could have told me that they taste like black licorice, which I don't like, and I still would have bought them just so that I could have them growing in my yard and I could look at them and enjoy the way that they look. Next up is the Sunrise Sauce F1. Now, this one is a determinate variety, and one of my goals this year is to make my own sauce. I don't know that I want to like can it up and have, I don't know, 15 jars of sauce or anything like that. I just want to make my own sauce, and if I can, maybe have one or two, left over to, enjoy. But this is supposed to be a super productive plant, and it's supposed to be great for making sauce. Obviously, sauce is in the name. They describe it as large fruited, productive, and delicious. It's also the only non-heirloom orange-colored sauce tomato available. So, ooh, it feels like I'm going to be eating something super rare. So I'm excited for those. Next is the white tomato. I've never had a white tomato. I think that would help round out my whole rainbow of tomatoes, because I already have the red. The sunrise is going to be orange, the orange accordion, the black cherry, sweetheart cherry is red, the green zebra, the pink passion. So the white tomato, I got the seeds for free from Baker Creek with one of my orders. It's not really white though, it's more of a creamy color, but still, it's supposed to grow excellent yields, so looking forward to that. Next up is the Pink Jazz, and I just like the name. But it is a gorgeous tomato. It's tiger striped, and the fruits can get up to 1 whole pound. So last year, the largest tomato that I grew, and don't make fun of me, was a whole 9 ounces. So I'm trying to beat that this year. Although last year I only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tomato plants, and this time I'm going to have 15. So, and of those 6, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them were cherry tomatoes. So I really only had 2 tomato plants that weren't cherry tomatoes, and the largest fruit I got off of either one of them was 9 ounces. So I'm giving it a go this time. I want me a nice sizable one. We'll see if I can make it happen in a container. Next up is the mushroom basket. I'm obviously obsessed with these super fluted tomatoes like this, but it's like ribbed and pleated just like the orange accordion. They describe it as sweet and mild. I don't know, that to me doesn't sound like woo, so that'll blow my mind, but I will love having it and looking at it, and maybe I could find a different way to use it that will impart some other flavor, since it's going to be so mild, potentially, so we'll see. And then the last one is Naya Goose, I think, maybe. I'm probably saying that wrong, but that's another one from Craig LaHoyer, and the seeds were from 2017. It's supposed to give you black baseball-sized fruits, and so I just gonna give them a try, right? And let's see, I don't think there was anything else. No, I just mentioned here the 3 varieties of the mini dwarfs, but I already talked about those. So that's what I'm going to be growing tomato wise, God willing, I'm starting the seeds. That doesn't mean they're going to survive or thrive or, even germinate. But this is what I'm starting. I started 2 of each seed, and I'm using my Arrow Garden to germinate the seeds. So, fingers crossed, it could be a really good tomato year for me. I hope you guys are getting your things planted. I am a week behind from when I started my tomato seeds last year, so I hope that doesn't set me back too much. I did the same thing. I had started them in the Arrow Gardens, and then after a while I transplanted them into styrofoam cups, and I'm reusing those same styrofoam cups. I know they're not like the best as far as, the environment and stuff, but I am reusing them. And I just hope I'm not like setting myself back too far. I'm pretty glad that I'm doing some of the early varieties, and that way I'm guaranteed to at least get some tomatoes. I think with these 1 pound fruits, especially the red ones, it's going to take like a super long time to get to where they're ripe, like at least ripe on the vine. And so, I'm nervous about that, but I do have quite a few early varieties going too, so I should be still doing okay as far as production. Let's see, what else is there? I bought worm castings this year. I'm going to use those when planting my tomatoes and growing them. I'm going to do the same as I did last year as far as cracking one organic egg in the hole where the tomato is planted. I am going to plant it down on the stem as far as I can. That all seemed to work very well for me last year, so why not do it again? I did water every week with fish emulsion, so I need to buy another jug of that. I still have some left, but I don't have enough to get me through the whole season, so I'm going to do that again just like before. But like I said, the only thing I plan on adding is worm castings here and there. So I'm ready for it to happen. I'm so ready to get out there and play in the dirt and get some soil under my fingernails and tend to plants and all that fun stuff. And it's almost time. It's getting there. This week is going to be in the upper 60s to lower 70s all week during the day, and then the lows are going to be down in the 40s. So this is perfect for what I have growing out there right now, which is basically kales. I got lettuce. I have radishes going. I started my hens and chicks poppies, and I have carrots going. So I think this is good weather for all those things, and I hope that it can remain this way for at least another month, but that remains to be seen. The weather's been so kooky. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen. One day it's like 80, the next day it's 30. Well, it was like 75 one day, and then 30 2 days later. It was crazy. And then that night was actually a freeze, which really sucked, or so I thought, because all of my radishes and my lettuces and all the kales and whatnot, they're like super small. They're out there. And they did freeze, but they thawed out just fine. I was so elated because I was like, oh gosh, especially with the radishes. If you followed me last year, you know I didn't get a one. The ones that I did get, they were like this big. So I'm trying. I planted 3 different kinds. I did a Parks Beauty blend, I did a round black Spanish, and I did a wasabi. Please, please, please. I love radishes. So I'm hoping for a harvest of those. At any rate, you guys, that is it. That's what I'm doing for my tomatoes. If you got any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments and wish me luck. Thank you. Bye-bye.